It's funny. The other day I was actually trying to fix this weird error on my phone,
Hmm.
and the chatbot, I swear, it felt like I was talking to an actual person.
Hmm.
It's kind of crazy how this whole AI thing is just like everywhere you look now.
It really is amazing how fast it's become a part of, well, everything.
Right. And honestly, with everyone talking about AI, it's easy to get lost in all the noise. So what we're going to do in this deep dive is try to cut through all of that and really focus on what really matters when we talk about generative AI. And it seems like the World Economic Forum is a good place to start with this. They always have a good grasp on the big picture stuff.
Yeah, for sure. The WEF's focus on responsible AI governance is definitely a good place to start. And it's interesting how they emphasize that it's not just a tech issue. It's a societal one.
Okay, I see what you mean. But what does that actually look like, in the real world?
We'll take their AI Governance Alliance, for example. They're bringing everyone to the table, governments, businesses, you name it, to figure out how to steer AI in the right direction, prevent misuse, and make sure everyone benefits.
So being proactive, not just reacting after something blows up.
Exactly. A good example is their Presidio AI framework. Think of it as a roadmap for managing AI risks and making sure it's developed and used responsibly.
So real guidelines, not just empty words. Gotcha. But why should, the average person care about AI governance?
Because AI governance is going to shape the AI-powered world you live in, right? So these decisions being made, they impact everything from the healthcare you receive to how your kids learn in school, even the news you read.
Speaking of news, trust in media is already kind of shaky. Now you throw AI into the mix, that's a whole other can of worms.
That's a major concern the WEF highlights. They have this report on the future of media, and it really underscores the two sides of AI. On one hand, it has the potential to combat disinformation, which is huge, but then it can also be used to create those crazy realistic deepfakes, which just makes it even harder to tell what's real and what's not.
Talk about a double-edged sword. Will we even be able to believe anything we see online anymore?
It's a good question. More than ever, we have to think critically about the information, especially online. As AI gets better, questioning what we see and hear, it's going to be crucial.
That's a good point. Even if something looks real, you got to wonder who made this and why.
Exactly. And this becomes even more important when you think about, say, the financial world. Investors are pouring money into AI, and that gives them a big say in how this tech develops.
Right, they're the ones fueling the fire. So what does the WEF have to say about all that?
They're really big on responsible investment in AI.
So they want investors to think beyond just the bottom line.
Yeah, exactly. They even created a responsible AI playbook for investors to make the case that ethical AI isn't just like a nice to have, it's smart business.
Interesting. How so?
Well, their argument is that AI has to be honest, helpful, and harmless to be valuable in the long run. And those values, they impact real financial outcomes. Ignore them, and you're potentially risking your investment.
So it's not just about avoiding bad PR, it's about building something that's actually beneficial for everyone.
Exactly. And that long-term thinking, it's something the WEF stresses in every industry, especially education.
Oh yeah, education. Feels like we're on the verge of some major breakthroughs there with AI. Personalized learning, reducing the workload on teachers, the possibilities are huge.
The WEF sees that too. They're especially interested in how AI can help address the global teacher shortage. However, they also stress that it's not just about having the technology. It needs to be accessible, to everyone.
So no creating a bigger gap between the haves and the have-nots.
Exactly. And it's more than just having access. It needs to be integrated into the curriculum itself. Students need to know how AI works, how it impacts things, and how to use it ethically.
It's like AI isn't just this thing happening to us. It's something we have to actively learn about and shape as we go.
Right. And this all ties into the future of work, which is a big one for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, robots taking over jobs. That's the big fear, right?
The WEF actually published their Future of Jobs report, and they actually say that while AI will displace some jobs, it's going to create even more.
Wait, really? More jobs? So it's not all doom and gloom?
It's more nuanced than that. The idea is that, yeah, some tasks will be automated, but new roles and industries are going to pop up that we can't even imagine right now.
So it's about adaptation. What can people do now to get ready?
That's where upskilling and lifelong learning come in. The WEF, they argue that to stay competitive, people need to constantly be learning new skills, adapting to new tech.
So your ability to learn and evolve is going to be just as important as what you know right now.
Exactly. And it applies no matter your age or your field.
So we've got AI impacting media, finance, education, the job market. What about healthcare? Seems like AI could be a game changer there.
Totally. It's another area ripe for transformation. The WEF, they have this vision of patient-first health. It's about using AI to personalize healthcare and make the whole experience way more streamlined.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. What does that actually look like?
Think about AI that helps doctors diagnose diseases earlier and more accurately, or even treatment plans that are customized to your unique needs based on your genetics. And then there's the potential for AI to bridge the gap in access to specialized care no matter where you live. That's the kind of future they're talking about.
Wow, okay, that's pretty amazing. But what about the whole data privacy thing? That feels like a big deal in healthcare.
Definitely something to be mindful of. The WEF stresses that with AI in healthcare, you have to make sure data is secure and that there are ethical guidelines and regulations in place.
So finding that balance between innovation and not being creepy.
Exactly. And that need for balance, it comes up when we talk about AI and scientific discovery too.
Oh, right. AI is already doing some wild stuff in science.
It's changing the game completely.
Mhm.
I mean, we're talking about AI that can analyze huge data sets and identify patterns that humans might miss, leading to breakthroughs in medicine, climate change research, you name it.
It's like having a super-powered research assistant that never sleeps.
It's accelerating discoveries at a pace we've never seen before. Take drug development, for example. Developing new drugs has always been really slow and expensive, but with AI, they can identify potential drug candidates way faster, making the whole process much more efficient.
Wow, AI finding cures for diseases that would have taken years, maybe decades to figure out otherwise.
And it's not just medicine. AI is designing new materials with better properties, like lighter and stronger alloys for airplanes or more efficient solar panels.
It's like AI is not just changing how we do science, it's changing what's possible.
Right. And this all ties back to that fourth industrial revolution we were talking about earlier. It's like all these technologies, AI, data science, they're all pushing us toward this new era.
It's pretty exciting, but it's also a lot to take in.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
It really is a lot. And, with all this talk about the fourth industrial revolution, generative AI, all that, it's easy to get caught up in those big ideas.
Yeah, like where do you even start trying to figure out how it affects real industries, specific ones? It can be a bit much.
Oh, for sure. But let's try to zoom in a little. Manufacturing, for example. I mean, it's already gone through huge changes with automation, going digital, all that. And now you've got generative AI coming in, adding another whole layer of, well, complexity, but also opportunity.
So it's like AI is building on what's already there, pushing things even further.
Yes, exactly. And there's this thing the WEF talks about, these global lighthouse network sites. Basically, they're these leading manufacturers who are already using AI and other cutting-edge stuff to completely change how they do things.
Lighthouses, huh? I like that. So they're like leading the way, showing everyone else what's possible.
Exactly. They're proving that if you really embrace these technologies, amazing things can happen. And it's not just about throwing AI at the problem and hoping for the best. These lighthouses, they're really focused on training their workers too.
Which goes back to that whole lifelong learning thing we were talking about earlier, giving workers the skills to not just survive, but thrive alongside AI.
Absolutely. It's like they're showing everyone that if you really want to succeed with all this new tech, you got to invest in your people just as much as you invest in the technology itself.
It's about humans and machines working together, not one replacing the other.
Exactly. These lighthouse companies, they're proving that it doesn't have to be one or the other.
Okay, that's good to hear. But then how do we actually, prepare for these new ways of working?
That's where collaboration comes in. The WES, they say we need governments to create policies that support responsible AI, businesses to invest in both technology and their people, and individuals to be proactive about their own learning and development.
So everyone has to do their part. It's not someone else's problem to solve.
Exactly. And that's what makes this so interesting, It's not being done to us, it's something we're all creating.
That's a good way to look at it. But let's bring it back down to earth for a minute. With all this talk about big changes and global shifts, what does this actually mean for the average person who's listening to us right now?
It means we got to be informed, and engaged. The WEF, they focus on the big picture, but it's on each of us to figure out how these trends affect our own lives.
Take the big ideas and see how they fit into your own world.
Exactly. Think about your job, what you're interested in, even your community. What opportunities does AI create? What are the things that worry you? How can you use all of this to your advantage?
Be proactive, ask the tough questions. But honestly, even knowing where to start can be tough.
For sure. But there are resources out there, like the WEF reports we've been talking about. Those are a great place to start. They've got insights from experts all over the place and give you a good framework for understanding the potential and the challenges of AI.
So it's like a crash course in the future taught by the people who are shaping it.
Exactly. And this isn't like a one-time thing. This whole landscape is always changing, so you got to keep learning.
Got it. So stay curious, stay engaged, and maybe keep those WEF reports handy.
Exactly. And if something really grabs your attention, don't be afraid to dig deeper. The more you know, the better prepared you'll be for all this.
Knowledge is power, right?
100%. And speaking of power, AI is poised to completely transform healthcare too.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. What's the WEF saying about that?
They're talking about this idea of patient-first health, basically using AI to personalize and streamline the whole healthcare experience.
Okay, I'm listening. Patient first health. Tell me more.
Imagine AI that helps doctors diagnose diseases earlier and way more accurately, or treatment plans that are like tailor-made for you based on your genes. AI could even help people get specialized care no matter where they live.
Okay, that does sound amazing, but is this really happening or is it just like a nice idea?
Oh no, it's already happening. AI tools are being used right now to catch things like cancer and heart disease early on, which obviously leads to better treatment and outcomes for patients. And in drug development, AI is helping researchers create life-saving medications much faster.
So AI is already having a real tangible impact on healthcare. But like with any new technology, I'm guessing there are challenges.
Oh, for sure. The more we use AI in healthcare, the more we have to think about things like data privacy, making sure algorithms aren't biased, and ensuring that everyone has access to these advancements. It's about using AI ethically and responsibly.
So making sure AI is actually helping people, not making things worse.
Exactly. And that's why we need to be having these conversations. We need policymakers, doctors, tech experts, even patients to all work together to make sure AI is developed and used in a way that benefits everyone.
So it's not just about the tech, it's about how we choose to use it.
100%. AI is a tool. It can be used for good or bad.
Yeah.
It's up to us to make sure it's used responsibly, especially with something as important as healthcare.
We can't let the excitement of the new overshadow the potential downsides.
Exactly. But at the same time, we can't be afraid to explore what AI can do to make healthcare better for everyone.
It's about finding that balance, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that goes for AI and science too.
Oh, right. We were talking about how AI is like supercharging scientific discovery.
It's really changing the game.
Yeah.
We're talking AI that can analyze massive data sets, spot patterns humans would miss, and it's leading to breakthroughs in like medicine, materials science, climate change, even space exploration.
It's like having a superpowered research assistant, like we were saying earlier, but for every field of science.
Right. And it's not just about speed. AI can process information in a way humans just can't, so scientists can focus on the big questions, design better experiments.
So AI is helping us understand the universe better, basically.
In a way, yeah. And it's not just about speed, it's about accuracy. Like AI algorithms are being used to look at medical images, and they're incredibly accurate. Often they can spot tiny details that might mean disease that even trained doctors might miss.
That's pretty incredible. Any examples of AI discoveries that you find particularly mind-blowing?
Drug discovery is a big one. Traditionally, creating new drugs, it's a long, expensive process. But with AI, researchers can identify potential drugs so much faster, it's amazing.
So potentially life-saving medications that would have taken years, decades even, to discover are being found faster because of AI.
Exactly, and it goes way beyond medicine. In material science, AI is helping develop brand new materials with incredible properties,
Yeah.
like lighter and stronger alloys for things like airplanes and spacecraft, or super efficient solar panels.
It really sounds like AI is changing the world of science as we know it.
It is, and this revolution in scientific discovery, it's all connected to this larger technological shift we're experiencing, driven by AI, data science, all these exponential technologies.
Right, the fourth industrial revolution. It's exciting, but it's easy to get caught up in the excitement and forget about the potential downsides. There are always two sides to the coin, right?
Absolutely. We have to be mindful of how we develop and use AI, not just in science, but everywhere.
Mhm.
Ethical considerations, responsible innovation, making sure everyone benefits, those are all crucial.
We need to make sure that all this incredible technology is actually used to make the world a better place, not just for some, but for everyone.
Couldn't agree more. It's about progress, but progress with a purpose. It's about using technology to create a brighter and more equitable future. for everyone.
Absolutely. It's wild to think about, you know? Like we're standing here right on the edge of something massive, something that could completely change the world as we know it. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around.
It's exciting, but yeah, it can be a little overwhelming for sure. All this potential, all this change, this combination of what humans can do and what technology can do, it's opening up doors we never even knew existed.
Exactly. And we've talked about the good stuff, the potential benefits, but how do we make sure this all goes in the right direction, you know? How do we make sure this technological revolution benefits everyone, not just a select few? How do we ensure it's used for good?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And it's something the WEF is really concerned about too. They
Yeah.
keep saying that navigating all of this requires, like, everyone working together, governments, businesses, people like you and me.
So it's not enough to just create cool technology. You have to do it in a way that's actually responsible, ethical.
Exactly.
Okay.
We can't just ignore the potential downsides, the unintended consequences. We have to think about those too and try to build a future where AI benefits everyone. It's about making sure everyone has access to the benefits and making sure no one gets left behind.
So it's not just about being excited about the possibilities, it's also about actively shaping how this technology is used, making sure it's used in a way that's fair and just for everyone.
Right. We can't just sit back and assume it'll all work out.
Yeah.
We have to ask tough questions, be critical, and push for a future where technology is used to lift people up, not create more division.
We all deserve a seat at the table, right?
Yeah.
Everyone should have say in how this all plays out.
100%. And that's what makes all of this so fascinating. It's not just up to like the politicians and the tech CEOs to figure this out. We all have a role to play.
I love that. So, okay, for someone who's listening to this, what can they actually do? What actions can they take? It seems like such a big, complex issue.
Well, I think it starts with just being aware,
Yeah.
educating yourself. The more you know about all this stuff, the better prepared you'll be to have conversations about it, understand the implications, advocate for responsible development.
So, like, do your homework, stay informed, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah. And don't underestimate your own voice. Talk to your friends and family about this stuff. Bring it up in your community. Share what you're learning online. Push back on misinformation. And listen to voices that are often unheard in these tech conversations.
Make sure everyone feels like they're a part of this, not just bystanders.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And remember, it's one thing to talk about it, it's another to actually do something. Support companies that share your values. Invest in ethical AI. Think about your own skills and how you can contribute to a better future.
Walk the walk. Right. It's about aligning what we believe with how we act and making choices that reflect the kind of future we want to see.
Exactly. And that's what's so exciting about right now. We have a real chance to shape all of this, to steer these incredible technologies in a direction that benefits all of humanity.
It's about embracing the unknown, being open to what's possible, but also being cautious, knowing that we have the power to create a future that's not just innovative, but also fair and just.
Couldn't have said it better myself. As we wrap up our deep dive into generative AI, I think the biggest takeaway is this. This isn't just a technological revolution, it's a human one. It's a call to action for all of us to step up and create a future where technology helps us all thrive.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we'd love to hear from you, our listeners. What really stood out to you today? What questions do you have about generative AI and what it means for your life? Jump into the conversation on social media using hashtag #TheDeepDive, and let's keep this going.
We're all in this together, right?
Yeah,
And together we can navigate all of this, the good and the bad, and build a brighter future for everyone.
absolutely. Thanks for joining us for this incredible journey into the world of generative AI. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep diving deep.